Hi. When I was 6 years old, I would have to plug my nose every time I jumped in a swimming pool. My mom looked at that and she was like, no, that looks ridiculous. So she immediately signed me up for swimming lessons. After a few years learning how to swim, I started competing. But I hated swimming meets. I hated them so much that I would cry before and during every single meet that I had to swim for the first 3 years. I even have proof of my crying episodes, as you can see. This does not look like the face of a college swimmer, right? Every time I had to swim a race, I got super scared that I wouldn't be able to finish it. This fear I had was super irrational because even if I wasn't able to finish it, what would be the worst thing that would happen to me? The crazy thing is also, my parents were very supportive. They never forced me to swim or compete. The pressure was 100% coming from the inside. After so many years and so many tears, when I was 11, I was swimming my second state meet of that year. And I was about to swim the 100 fly. And that was the first time in my life that I swam a race and I didn't cry before it. That was the one time that I thought, I can do this, there's no need to cry. I ended up finishing fifth, which at the time was really impressive for someone who cried their lungs out before they swam every time. Looking back, this memory seems like something so small, but it means a lot to me because it really reminds me to be brave. Swimming was the first situation in my life where I had to be brave. I grew up in Brazil. I am an only child. I was born and raised in Brazil, and I was very sheltered my whole life. I have a really good relationship with my parents, and they supported me through all the years of swimming. They would travel around to watch me swim and everything. As I got older, I started to cry a little less and swim a little faster. So my sophomore year in high school, I was swimming for a bigger club. And I met a lot of people that were from São Paulo City, which is this huge city in Brazil. And a lot of them were applying for American universities. I've always wanted to experience living in a different country, but I never found the right way or the right time to do it. So my mom was very supportive of this idea, not so much my dad, but my mom made the rules in the house, so we decided that we were going to look into this. We talked to these people and we asked them how they were going about applying for schools here. And we decided to have a meeting with this agency that sent people to American universities. We had our first meeting and I thought, I really want to do this. Oops. And my parents, especially my dad, were asking me like, are you sure you're going to do this? I mean, we were going to have to spend 4 years in a different country and everything is going to be different and you're not going to know anyone. My dad was like, are you sure you can go to a swimming meet if your mom's not there to pack your bag and to watch you swim? But I decided, well, I've been to Disney World before, so I'm ready to move to the US. I took all the tests, I recorded my videos, and I sent out all my times to this agency. I was very committed to this decision because I wanted to do this for myself. And I wanted to become this person that was brave, and it was another chance for me to prove myself that I could be brave. Even though I really wanted to come, I was very unsure of where to go or which schools to apply for. I didn't know. So in November of 2015, I got an offer from MSUM. I talked to the coach, I did the online tour, and I translated some fun facts for my parents, since at the time neither of them spoke any English. And I was like, this looks great, this is where I'm going. When I finally signed with an American university, everyone I knew started going crazy. People were asking me, like, do you even know where Minnesota is? And no, I had no idea. But I knew that I was coming, no matter how much anyone would doubt me. I think the reason why people were asking me all these questions was because they knew me as the crying Letty, who couldn't do anything on her own. But I didn't want to be that girl anymore. So I knew that if I could stay positive, I would make this work. So I packed my bags and I came to Minnesota. I remember my first night here. I felt so alone. I was 13,000 miles away from home, and at that moment, I asked myself, what have you done? But I knew I had to be brave and commit to this choice. I really was going to spend the next 9 months in this place where I knew anyone and I knew nothing about, and I was going to make the best out of it. Moving to a different country was so challenging. It was scary, but it was also such an opportunity for me to forge myself into this completely new person that I never thought I could be. My first week of school here, I started working at swimming school. English is not my first language. My parents could not even believe that someone wanted to hire me. I never had a job before. I remember the first few weeks, I didn't even understand what the kids were telling me. I remember this one time, this kid looked at me and was like, "Can I go potty?" And I was like, "What do you mean you want to go party?" Basically, when I moved here, it was such an eye-opening experience for me that there was so much I could learn and so much more I could do with my life. I remember my sophomore year, one of the swimmers came up to me and she told me, "I thought you were crazy last year. I mean, you were always going around and talking to people and you were always doing something." But she was right, I was kind of crazy. I was the kind of undergrad student who did everything they could in college. I was a swimmer, I was a SOC, a drag ambassador, I joined DECA, I tutored, I did an internship, and I really allowed myself to live the full package, complete college experience. And what led me to get so involved was the lessons that my parents taught me about how to keep pushing myself to grow, even when I felt scared. Before I did any of those things, I felt really scared. Like I said, English was not even my first language. But these two things were what helped me keep going and forge myself over and over again. So the first one is something that my dad would always tell me, and it kind of translates to, "You already have the no." So what he means here is sometimes there are things in life that we want to do, but we're really scared of doing them. So for example, you might have a job that you want to apply for, but it seems so hard to get. Or you may want to join a student org where you have no friends in it. So you already have that no, but if you never try, how are you going to know if you could have that yes? The second thing is something that might seem very obvious, but it's something that my mom always asked me. Whenever I was scared of something, like swimming, my mom would look at me and ask, "What is the worst thing that can happen if you do this?" Most of the time, we're just letting fear get in the way of us doing what we want to do. Coming to Minnesota, the worst thing that could happen to me was I would make 0 friends and would absolutely hate everything about it. Then I would have to go home. But I would go home knowing that I tried, and I would have that lesson to learn from. And maybe do things different next time. I think most of us have those experiences that we think back and we think, "I wish I have never lived this," or "I wish this never happened." But if we didn't go through it, we wouldn't know. Even the worst experiences can make us into someone better and someone stronger. And let's be honest, most of the time, the worst thing that can happen is not even that bad. It was very important to stay positive through all these experiences. Of course, there were times that I was scared, I was anxious, and very homesick a lot of the times. But at the end of the day, I've tried to enjoy every moment and accept the outcomes and, of course, adapt to the changes. I try to forge myself a little bit every day after every experience that I learn from. It is super important to make that decision for yourself of getting up and thinking, what is that one thing that you've always wanted to do but you're scared of? When I was 11, it was swimming a race without crying. When I was 18, it was moving to a different country and becoming a student athlete. I'm still not sure what my next crazy step will be. But I know two things. One, it will happen for a reason. I know for a fact that all those swimming tears brought me somewhere. And two, I will learn from it. So why not get up and live it? In the end of the day, what is the worst thing that can happen after all? Thank you.
I wish I could play like theme